What's up YouTube? I wanted to try something different today, so I'm starting a new series. This is going to be sort of just like every Friday probably, little tips and tricks you can do to work those muscles that you really kind of neglect a little bit too much. So today we're doing anterior deltoid, front deltoid, so this little strip here. Just a few exercises, 4 or 5 exercises to show you. It can really help build it up and give you that nice round boulder shoulder. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to do is plate raise. Probably the most common, along with dumbbell raises, which I'll also show you here. Most common for the anterior deltoid, but it's just simple. Keep your elbows at a slight lock. You don't want your arms to be completely straight because you're going to put a lot of stress on your biceps, and it's just a lot harder and a lot more uncomfortable, and you just don't want to be doing that. So kind of keep a slight bend on your elbow, keep that bend consistent, bring the plate all the way above your head, and then back down. To make this exercise a little bit harder, if you see the hole in the plate here, if you look through that when you're doing it, and as you get to eye level, twist while looking through the hole, twist the other way, up to the top, back down again, twist looking through the hole, and that will be 1 rep. So yeah, that's the first exercise. Show you an alternative with a dumbbell now. Okay, so we've got the dumbbell. So this looks a bit funny, but you may have seen this in my gym tour. This is the dumbbells I have. They're adjustable, pretty cool. It's currently on 5 kg, just as a demonstration. But yeah, for this, same movement, slight bend in the elbow. The good thing about this that you can't quite get with the plate is that you can go right down by your sides, so you can get that full range all the way up and back down by your side, whereas the plate will stop about here, so you're not getting that full all the way down. So yeah, this is probably the most common. Another little tip, you can just come halfway, tip out either way. Similar to the other, a little bit of a rotation, keeps the stress on the front deltoid a little bit longer. If you want to just do it up to halfway, twist, back down, or you can go all the way up to the top, doing it either way, at halfway up and halfway back down. So yeah, that's the alternative for a dumbbell. Now this is pretty much the exact same as with a plate, but I'll just show you now if you don't have plates with tri-grip holes in them or anything, and it's just a little harder to sort of get the exercise done. If you've got a barbell like this, it would be nice and easy to just do this instead. So again, just keeping your elbows at a slight bend, lift all the way up, not quite above your head really, because it's gonna, like, if you go right above your head, you'll feel that the front of your shoulders aren't really taking much of the stress anymore. So you're giving your muscle an unnecessary break at the top, when really you want to be keeping it under as much stress as you can, as much of the time. So yeah, up to almost at the top. It's not quite above my head, I don't know if you can see that. And then bring it back down, and that'll be 1 rep. Okay, so for the next exercise, I'm just going to use this bar attachment to show you an example. Obviously you'd use a proper barbell if you were doing this, with some weight on it preferably. So this is going to be a supinated grip, so meaning palms up. Again, keeping your arm at a slight bend the whole time. Same as the other one really, it's still a raise, but with the supinated grip, it's really going to isolate the anterior deltoid. It's going to take the medial deltoid completely out of the question. Whereas with a neutral grip, like when you're doing lateral raises, obviously as you're going laterally, you're going to engage your intermediate deltoid primarily, but it's also going to use a bit of your front. Whereas like with the dumbbell that I showed you, if you're doing it with a pronated grip, that's going to incorporate a lot more of the intermediate deltoid. Neutral starts to incorporate a lot more of the anterior deltoid, and then with the supinated grip, you're really going to be isolating that as much as you can. You've just got to be really careful with this, especially with your elbow being at a slight bend the whole time. If it's not, if you've got a lot of weight on there, it's really going to be putting a lot of stress on your bicep, and can generally, you don't want anything going the wrong way, hyperextension. Okay, so doing the same again, only we're using this bar again. Only difference here is that, as you can see, with the bar being at a 45-degree angle here, you're just putting a little less stress on your wrists, and it's just a little bit more comfortable. Not completely isolating the anterior deltoid, but you're still pretty much primarily just using that. And as I said, less stress on the wrists, and generally I think it feels a lot more comfortable of a movement. So yeah, if I'm ever doing this exercise with a barbell like this, I definitely opt for this barbell if you have one, or an easy curl that's similar. So yeah, that's exercise 2 and all the different sort of renditions of it. Do that what you will. On to exercise 3. Okay, so we've moved over to the bench. We're using the same barbell as before. This is going to be a front press though, rather than a raise. So instead of lifting the weight up, we're going to be pressing it above our heads. So like with the normal overhead press, shoulder press, military press, you want to be doing the same sort of thing really. Only making sure you're keeping your back straight on the bench as always. But with this, you kind of want to push a little bit more out rather than up. And that's going to put an appropriate amount of stress on your front deltoid. Don't go too far out because you could drop it and it's going to be painful. It's going to hit you on the legs, you could snap stuff up on your shoulders. You don't want to be doing any of that. You can go straight up if you want to be safe. That is probably the preferred method. But if you really want to target your front deltoid, just angle it out a little bit, press up, keep it controlled. And it's going to, again, take out the anterior deltoid quite a bit and leave you working the front a lot more, if that's what you want. So, exercise 2 down. Just give you another quick demonstration if you didn't see it. Okay, so for the 4th exercise, we're still over here at the bench. I'm using a straight bar this time, but instead of the neutral grip, sort of mid grip I was doing with the other bar before, now with the straight bar, having a supinated grip. Again, keeping your back nice and straight and flat on the bench. Just push up like a normal shoulder press. Just the only difference is, instead of being a little wider with the regular grip, you having your palms facing you, and that's really going to emphasise your front deltoid. Just with this, be careful of the weight you do. If you're not used to doing, say, 40, 60, 80 above your head like this, you definitely don't want to be doing the same weight doing it this way around, because it is a lot heavier, and obviously it's not using this portion of your shoulder, it's just using this portion, so you don't want to put too much stress on that and end up dropping it on your collarbone or anything like that. So yeah, be careful. But it's the same movement, just push up, keep your elbows not fully locked out, you just want to push up to almost locked out, and then bring back down nice and slow, push up, and then repeat. So I'll quickly give you a demonstration. So as for grip on this, I'm going to keep it roughly around shoulder. It's really personal preference. I'm not going to tell you where to hold it on the bar because everyone's different, their shoulders width's different. But if you obviously feel any tension in your wrist, it's not to get painful or anything, obviously play around with it a bit, try with a lightweight first, feel what's comfortable. A little bit wider than shoulder is fine, a little bit closer in is also fine. Just make sure that you're tailoring it to your body and you're not going to injure yourself unnecessarily. So yeah, that's exercise 4. Okay, so the 5th and final exercise is kind of going to be engaging your whole shoulder. It's known as the Arnie press. Don't know if you've heard of it. Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do it quite a lot. The reason I'm showing you it's not entirely front deltoid, but it kind of backs off onto the barbell exercise we just did, because you start in the same position. So yeah, basically what you're going to do, you're going to rotate on the way up. So you'll start in this position again, same sort of shoulder width apart, above your chest, back flat against the bench. You just want to rotate slowly until your hands are completely rotated, facing like they would on a normal shoulder rotation. So just bring them down so you can see them. That's what they're going to look like at the top, and that's what they're going to look like at the bottom. So just, it will take some time to sort of gauge how slowly you need to rotate it so that it is entirely flat at the top. But just play around with it again. Try it a few times. This is good to do at the end of a workout, I feel. Once you've sort of targeted your front, back, sides, you know, every different situation of your shoulder. So like if you're doing some rear flies and some front presses and some overhead presses, you've sort of tired your whole shoulders out. This is just a nice lightweight burn you can do at the end, just to hit them all, burn them all off, hit them all to failure, just come out of the gym feeling nice and like you've absolutely killed them. So yeah, I'd recommend doing it at the end when you've absolutely killed yourself. But yeah, that's my 5 exercises for shoulders, primarily anterior deltoid. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this, and if there's any particular muscle group you really want to see some different unique exercises for, or just maybe some ideas that or workouts that you haven't done before. Let me know. As always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want to see more. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.